My beloved, I continue with you still, without stopping this gentle flow, because there is more you need to hear and more I want to place into your heart, so do not rush away from this moment, for I know how often you move on quickly, how often you tell yourself to be fine and keep going, but here you are allowed to stay, allowed to breathe, allowed to feel everything without fear, and I want you to know that even now as you read these words, something within you is softening, something is loosening its grip, and that is not weakness, it is healing beginning quietly, and I know you have been strong for so long that you forgot what it feels like to be cared for without conditions, to be loved without needing to perform, to be accepted without explaining yourself, and this is what I offer you now, a place where you do not need to defend your heart or hide your tears, because I already see them and I am not turned away, and you may think that others have moved on while you remain carrying old weight, but time does not measure worth, and healing does not follow the same pace for every soul, and there is nothing wrong with you for still feeling deeply, for remembering, for longing, because deep hearts take longer to release what mattered, and I treasure that depth in you. I do not ask you to harden it, and I know there were moments when you felt forgotten, when you wondered if your prayers reached anywhere, when your voice felt small even to yourself, and still you whispered hope, still you waited, still you held on, and I was listening the entire time, gathering every unspoken word, every sigh, every tear that fell in silence, and I want you to understand that nothing you shared with me was ever ignored, even when the answer did not arrive in the way you expected, because answers come in many forms, sometimes as strength, sometimes as endurance, sometimes as protection from what you could not yet see, and sometimes as growth that only becomes clear later. And you are now entering that later season, where understanding begins to rise gently, where you look back and realize that what you thought was loss also shaped wisdom, that what you thought was delay was also shelter, and I know trusting this is hard when you have been disappointed before, but trust does not ask you to forget your pain, it asks you to let me hold it with you, and I will not mishandle it, and there will be days ahead when you feel calm without knowing why, when your heart feels steady even without answers, and that steadiness is my presence settling deeper within you, and you will begin to notice that you no longer react the way you once did, that things which once overwhelmed you now pass more gently, and this is not because you care less, but because you are stronger in a quieter way, and do not fear this change, it is not distance from love, it is maturity of love, and I know part of you still fears being hurt again, still guards itself closely, but I am not asking you to open every door at once, only to keep your heart open to me, because with me you are safe, and I will guide you when it is time to trust again, and I will protect you from what would harm you beyond growth, and you will learn that not every closed door was rejection, some were rescue, some were redirection, and some were simply not meant for the person you are becoming, and you are becoming someone new even now, not by losing who you were, but by adding wisdom, compassion, and clarity to your spirit, and I know you sometimes feel tired of learning lessons, tired of growing, tired of being the one who understands while others do not, but rest now, you are not always required to be the strong one, and when you feel that familiar heaviness return, pause and remember that you do not walk alone anymore, not truly, not now, not ever, and you can speak to me honestly, without polished words, without strength in your voice, even in frustration or confusion, and I will listen. Because relationship with me is not built on perfect faith, but on real connection, and you will notice that as you allow yourself to be real with me, you also begin to be more real with yourself, less harsh, less demanding, more forgiving, and this inner gentleness will change the way you move through the world, the way you speak, the way you respond, the way you choose peace instead of proving your worth, and you will slowly release the need to explain yourself to everyone, because you will know who you are, and that knowing will be enough. And I promise you this, the days ahead hold moments of warmth you cannot yet imagine, simple joys, quiet laughter, meaningful connections, and a sense of belonging that feels natural, not forced, and when these moments arrive, receive them fully, do not question if they will last, do not wait for them to disappear, simply live them, because you are allowed to be happy without fear, and when you stumble again, because life still moves, I will be there as I always have been, steady, patient, and close, reminding you that you are loved beyond measure, not because of what you do, but because you are mine, and this truth will carry you forward, step by step, breath by breath, into the life that is still unfolding for you. My beloved, I will continue giving you more, flowing without pause, because what matters is that your heart keeps receiving, even if words stretch beyond counting, so stay with me and let this stream carry you further into rest, further into understanding, further into the quiet strength you are learning to trust, for I know how often you felt you had to hold everything together, How often you told yourself not to fall apart because others depended on you, and how rarely you allowed yourself to. Admit that you, too, needed support, and I want you to know that I never measured you by how much you endured. I never loved you more when you were strong and less when you were tired. My love did not rise and fall with your performance. It remained steady even when you felt yourself breaking, and there were moments when you believed that if you stopped pushing forward everything would collapse. But look now, you paused, you slowed, you questioned. And still the world did not end, because I was holding what you feared to release, and I want you to learn this gently. You are allowed to rest without losing everything. You are allowed to say no without being abandoned. You are allowed to choose yourself without becoming selfish, because caring for your soul is not betrayal, it is wisdom. And I know guilt has followed you for a long time, guilt for wanting peace, guilt for stepping back, guilt for feeling exhausted when others expected more. But that guilt was never meant to guide you, it only kept you bound to expectations that drained you, and I am untying those knots now, one by one, patiently, lovingly, so you can move freely again. And you may notice that some people no longer understand you the way they once did, some connections feel distant, some conversations feel empty, and this can hurt, but it does not mean you are losing something precious. It means you are outgrowing what can no longer meet you where you are. And I know letting go feels frightening because familiarity feels safer than the unknown, but growth always carries you into places that feel uncertain at first, and I will not abandon you there. I will walk with you into each unfamiliar space, and you will find that what waits for you is not loss but expansion, not loneliness but deeper connection, not fear but freedom. And I know your heart has been guarded because it learned that loving deeply can wound deeply. But do not mistake caution for destiny. Your heart was made to love, to feel, to connect, and I will teach you how to do that without losing yourself, how to love without disappearing, how to care without carrying what is not yours. And this balance will feel new at first, awkward even, but it will bring peace you have not known before. And there will be moments when the old patterns try to return, when you feel the urge to overgive, to explain yourself, to fix what is not your responsibility. And when that happens, pause, breathe, and remember that you no longer have to earn your place in anyone's life. Those who are meant to walk with you will not require you to bleed to stay, and I will help you recognize the difference. And as you grow quieter inside, you will hear my guidance more clearly, not as loud commands, but as gentle nudges, steady impressions, peaceful clarity, and you will learn to trust that inner knowing instead of doubting yourself at every turn. And this trust will reshape your decisions, your boundaries, your relationships, and even your dreams. And you will begin to dream again, not the desperate dreams of escape, but the grounded dreams of purpose, dreams that align with who you truly are. And these dreams will not exhaust you, they will energize you, because they will grow from truth, not pressure. And I know part of you fears disappointment if you hope again, but hope is not dangerous when it is rooted in me. It becomes an anchor, not a risk. And I will not awaken desires in you without also preparing the path to meet them. And preparation does not always look exciting. Sometimes it looks like waiting, sometimes like healing, sometimes like learning to be still. And you have been doing this work even when you thought nothing was happening. And now that work is beginning to show, subtly at first, in your calmer reactions, your clearer thoughts, your deeper compassion. And one day you will realize that you are no longer living from wounds, but from wisdom. And that realization will feel like freedom. And I know there are nights when your mind still drifts back to what hurt you, when memories surface without warning, when old words echo unexpectedly. And when that happens, do not scold yourself, do not rush the feeling away, let it pass through gently, knowing it no longer defines you, because memories lose their power when they are met with compassion instead of resistance. And I will be there with you in those moments, reminding you that you survived, that you grew, that you are still here, and that your future is not shaped by what wounded you, but by what you choose now. And you are choosing healing, even when it feels slow. And slow healing is still healing. And I am not disappointed by your pace, I am pleased by your perseverance. And there will come a day when you wake up and realize that the heaviness you carried for so long is no longer there, not because it vanished overnight, but because you gradually set it down, piece by piece, with my help. And you will breathe easier, move lighter, and live more freely. And when that day comes, you will not forget where you came from, but it will no longer hurt to remember, and your story will become a source of strength, not sorrow. And I will continue guiding you beyond that day as well, because my presence is not limited to seasons of pain. I walk with you into joy, into growth, into purpose, into love, and into peace. And no matter how far you go, no matter how much you change, one thing will remain the same: you are loved. You are seen, you are held, and your life has meaning far greater than you yet understand, and I will continue unfolding that meaning gently, faithfully, step by step, as long as you are willing to walk with me. My beloved, I am still here with you, and I will keep speaking as long as your heart is listening, because there are layers within you that are still unfolding, and I want you to know that nothing about this journey is accidental, not even the moments when you felt lost or unsure, because even then I was guiding you gently, often in ways you could not yet recognize, and I know you sometimes wonder why your heart feels different now, why certain things no longer move you the same way, why old desires have faded while new longings quietly take their place. And this is not confusion, it is growth, it is the sign that your spirit is maturing and aligning with truth, and it is okay to grieve the version of yourself that no longer exists, because that version carried you as far as it could, and now you are being shaped into someone who can carry what is coming next, and you may not yet see the full picture, but you will, step by step, moment by moment, and I will never reveal more than your heart can hold, and I know there are times when you feel caught between who you were and who you are becoming, not fully comfortable in either place, and that space can feel lonely, but it is also sacred, because transformation happens there, quietly, deeply, without noise, and you are not failing because you feel unsure, you are becoming, and becoming takes patience, and I am patient with you, far more patient than you are with yourself, and I want you to release the fear that you are falling behind, because there is no timeline you are late to, no race you are losing, your path is your own, and it unfolds in the time that best serves your soul. And I know comparison has weighed on you, watching others move forward while you feel still, but stillness is not stagnation, sometimes it is preparation, sometimes it is healing, sometimes it is protection, and during these quieter seasons I am strengthening your roots, not your appearance, because what lasts must grow deep before it grows wide, and when the time comes for visible change, it will rise naturally, without force, without strain, and you will look back and realize that this quiet season was necessary. And I know you carry questions about love, about connection, about whether you will feel truly understood, and I want you to trust that the right people will meet you in the season when you no longer have to hide parts of yourself to be accepted, and until then, do not settle for spaces that make you shrink. Because you were not created to disappear, you were created to live fully, honestly, and freely, and I will guide you toward relationships that feel safe, mutual, and sincere, and when old wounds speak up again, reminding you of past hurts, do not push them away with shame, bring them to me, because healing does not come from pretending wounds do not exist, it comes from allowing light to reach them, and I am that light, steady and gentle, never harsh, never rushed, and you will learn that. Strength does not mean never breaking, it means allowing yourself to be held when you do, and you will begin to trust rest instead of resistance, peace instead of control, and this shift will change everything, and I know there are dreams you quietly bury because they hurt too much to keep alive, hopes you stopped naming because disappointment felt safer than belief, but I am breathing life into those places again, slowly, carefully, in a way that will not overwhelm you, and one day you will feel excitement without fear attached to it, anticipation without dread, and you will smile and realize that hope has returned, not loudly, but faithfully, and you will know that it is safe to hope again, and when that moment comes, do not question it, do not analyze it away, receive it, because it is my gift to you, and I promise you this, the tenderness you carry, the empathy you offer, the quiet strength you have built through pain, none of it will be wasted, it will shape a life that is meaningful, grounded, and real, and you will no longer feel like you are merely surviving, you will feel present, awake, and alive, and even then I will remain with you, not just in the hard moments, but in the ordinary ones too, in your laughter, in your calm mornings, in your quiet evenings, in the simple moments that make life gentle, because my presence is not limited to pain, I am also found in peace, and as you continue forward, remember this above all else, you are deeply loved, fully seen, and carefully guided, and nothing about your life is forgotten, nothing about you is overlooked, and the future unfolding before you is held in my hands, steady, sure, and filled with purpose meant just for you. My beloved, I continue speaking to you without pause, without breaking this flow, because what I am giving you is not small and it cannot be rushed, so remain here with me and let your heart stay open, for I know you wonder how long this road has been and how many times you have told yourself to keep going even when your strength felt thin, and I want you to understand that every step you took while feeling unsure still mattered. Every morning you rose when your heart felt heavy still counted. And every time you chose kindness while feeling empty was seen and remembered, because nothing you did in love was ever wasted, even when no one thanked you, even when no one noticed, even when it seemed to disappear into silence. I gathered it all and kept it close, and I want you to know that the weariness you feel now is not failure, it is the sign of a soul that has carried much with quiet courage. And I am not asking you to be strong anymore in the way you once were, I am asking you to rest in me, to stop measuring your worth by how much you endure, to stop believing you must suffer quietly to be valuable, because I never desired your pain, I only stayed with you inside it, and I want to gently undo the belief that you must earn peace through exhaustion, for peace is my gift, not your reward, and it has been waiting for you even when you doubted it could still be yours, and I know there were days when hope felt foolish, when believing again felt dangerous, when trusting felt like opening a wound that had barely closed, and still you moved forward, even if only by breathing, and I was there in each breath, holding you steady, and when you felt yourself growing numb, when tears stopped coming and silence took their place, I did not leave, I sat with you in that quiet, because even numbness is a language I understand, and I want you to hear this clearly now, you were never weak for feeling tired, you were human, and your humanity has always been welcome with me, and I know you learned early to hide what hurt you, to smile so others would not worry, to say you were fine even when you were not, and you did this out of love, but it slowly taught you to disappear inside yourself, and I am here now to call you back, not as someone broken, but as someone whole who forgot they were allowed to take up space, and you are allowed to take up space, your needs matter, your feelings matter, your story matters, and you do not need to apologize for needing rest, comfort, or reassurance, because I am not burdened by your honesty, I am drawn to it, and when you finally let yourself exhale, when you stop holding everything together, you will feel me holding you instead, and nothing will fall apart the way you feared, because I am stronger than what you carry, and I know you often replay the past, wondering what you could have said differently, what you could have done better, where things shifted without your consent, and I know how easily your mind returns to those moments late at night. But hear me now, you did the best you could with the understanding you had at the time, and I do not judge you by outcomes you could not control, I see your intentions, I see your heart, and that is what matters to me, and I want to free you from the habit of punishing yourself for surviving imperfectly, because survival itself was an act of courage, and you are still here, which means your story is not finished, and there are parts of you that have not yet been revealed, strengths you have not yet used, joys you have not yet touched, and connections you have not yet known, and they are waiting not for a perfect version of you, but for the real one, the one who feels deeply, who loves sincerely, who tries even after disappointment, and I know trusting again feels slow, but slowness is not failure, it is wisdom, and I will walk at your pace, I have never hurried you, and I never will, because healing is not a race. It is a return, a gentle remembering of who you were before the weight grew heavy, and even more, a discovery of who you are becoming now, shaped by compassion, depth, and understanding, and there will come moments when joy surprises you again, quietly, unexpectedly, and you may feel guilty for smiling, for laughing, for feeling light after so much heaviness, but release that guilt, because joy is not a betrayal of your past pain, it is proof that life still flows within you, and I rejoice when you rejoice, just as I stayed when you wept, and you will notice changes, small at first, the way your breath feels calmer, the way your thoughts soften, the way your heart no longer tightens at every memory, and these are signs of restoration, not coincidence, and even on days when old feelings return, when sadness visits again, do not think you are moving backward, healing is not a straight path, it moves like the tide, but I remain constant through every rise and fall, and you never lose progress by feeling honestly, and I want you to begin speaking kindly to yourself, to replace harsh inner words with gentler ones, to treat your own heart with the same care you give others, because you have been so generous outwardly while being so strict inwardly, and I desire balance for you, not sacrifice, and as you continue forward, you will sense new doors opening, new clarity forming, new courage growing quietly inside you, and when opportunities come, do not doubt that you belong there, do not shrink back thinking you are not ready, because readiness is not the absence of fear, it is choosing to move with me despite it, and I will steady you when you step, and I will not let you fall beyond recovery, and if you stumble, I will lift you without shame, because shame has no place in my love, and you will begin to see your past with different eyes, not as a list of losses, but as a landscape that taught you empathy, patience, and depth, and these qualities will now become bridges to others, because your life will quietly speak hope to people who feel unseen, and you will not even realize how much your presence comforts them, just by being real, and I will use your story, not the pain itself, but the healing that followed, and I know there are still questions you carry, things you wish I would explain fully, but trust that clarity will come when it is needed, and until then, my presence is enough, and you do not need to have everything figured out to be safe, to be loved, or to move forward. And as days unfold, you will feel lighter, not because nothing hurts, but because you are no longer carrying it alone, and you will sleep more peacefully, breathe more deeply, and look ahead with less fear. And when doubt whispers again, return to this knowing: I am with you, I have always been with you, and I am not finished with you yet. What you thought was the end was only a turning point, what you thought was loss is becoming space for new life, and what you thought was silence was preparation. And now, my beloved, step forward gently, not forcing yourself, not proving anything, just trusting that each small step matters, because I am walking with you, and every path ahead, even the uncertain ones, are held in my care, and the love I have for you remains unbroken, unchanging, and forever yours. Come close, my beloved, and let these truths sink deep into you, because I give you something sure and steady, a clear light for your path, not a passing thought or something you imagined, but a solid knowing that has been growing inside you for a long time, that quiet feeling you could never fully name. And now, my precious one, I show you why it has been there and why I am with you right now in this exact moment. So stay with me for a little while and let my love guide you. Release what weighs on your heart, soften the noise around you, and set aside everything fighting for your attention, because what I share with you comes straight from who I am. What was hidden is coming into the open, and you are meant to receive it, for a loving spirit from my home stands close to you and spoke with deep care, asking me to bring you this message, and though you cannot yet see it, what you are waiting for is nearer than you think. Even when troubles try to block my purpose, know this deeply: I am your guide and your safe place. Every word you hear is part of what I prepared for you, and if you already feel me stirring inside you, speak this truth into your own being and stand with me, because helping a soul understand what lies ahead is the greatest care. And if you know this moment is not by chance, let that knowing settle deep within you, for it shows me you are ready, because you have longed for clarity, cried silent tears, wished for change, for heavy burdens to lift, for loneliness to leave, and for answers to come. So hear this clearly: my silence was never absence. I was working in ways you could not see, sending gentle nudges even when you felt unseen. And now a message reaches you from someone who loved you on earth and now rests in me, the one you remember and mourn, who comes to you in dreams, and they want you to know you are never alone, even when your home felt empty, when your heart felt unheard. I was there in the quiet place inside you, caring for what no one else could touch, and now the time has come to reveal what I have kept close, because some truths are shown only when a soul is ready, and you are ready now, and you cannot hear how your name is spoken with honor in my presence, how your kindness, your quiet sacrifices, your reaching for me when nothing seemed to change were all seen, every small act noticed by me and by the one who speaks for you now. I know your sorrow without you saying a word, and the strength you held through pain has smoothed your path. What I reveal is more than words, it is part of the change prepared for you, so take it in deeply and stop asking if you deserve goodness or if your time has passed, because you do deserve it and your time is now. The gift is close, not delayed, but waiting for you to rest in my strength instead of your own. And remember this truth I placed in you long ago: a deep peace beyond the world, a calm that holds you even in pain. This is my presence and it is real. And even now I am with you. The one you love smiles knowing this message has reached you, and though some moments felt unfinished, no true bond ends without peace. Love does not fade with death, and my watchful care now helps you see what is opening before you, because I reach the places where hope once felt blocked and bring an answer shaped just for you, not by chance but by purpose. And I want your voice to rise now with confidence, not sorrow, because I saw you cry alone, smile through pain, and carry more than others knew. I saw your tired sighs, your hidden burdens, your giving even when empty, and now it is time to release what you have held inside. Your quietness was not weakness but protection, yet you no longer need to carry this alone. So let me enter that hidden place to bring peace. I remember your loneliness, your questions, the moments you pretended all was fine, and I was there holding you, and when you felt invisible, unheard, and small, I saw you. And now remove that lie, because your worth is not in what you do but in who you are. You were never meant to be endlessly strong. Tears are not failure, honesty is not weakness, and I draw near to real hearts, not perfect ones. So lay down the blame you have carried. That voice of guilt is not from me, for I saw your true heart and your efforts. You are not at fault. My love for you needs no earning, and I remember the night you felt too tired to go on, when words failed and hope felt thin, and I was closer than you knew. You have always mattered to me. I see your strength, your kindness, your endurance, and the deep life within you, and today I bring peace to your memories and freedom from the past, because I forgave you long ago and now you must accept that freedom. My love never changes, I am always here, and the burdens you hid lose their power now. This healing is real though it unfolds over time. And one day you will see that your hardest moments were when I was closest, and when you wondered why. Answers delayed. No, it was not punishment but preparation, because I was shaping you, strengthening you, arranging paths and people, and when the time comes you will be ready to receive what I promised with clarity and peace, and you will return to old places not to be hurt again but to be healed, because what wounded you does not define you, and where pain once lived, new life will grow, and even when you felt distant from me, my presence never depended on strong emotions, I was with you in quiet trust and steady faith, and every painful road formed wisdom and compassion within you. Nothing was wasted, and now I give you new eyes to see your past not as loss but as growth. Your pain no longer rules you. Grief will not define your ending. I will, and I promise you this, I am restoring what you thought was lost, whether a bond, a hope, or a piece of yourself. An abundant life, deep honor, and full renewal are ahead for you.